Hey everyone, I'm Jeff and I have the ability to speak. Now, sometimes having that skill, the ability to speak, can really help me communicate with hearing people and communicate fast. But I found that sometimes having the ability to speak can also make it more difficult for me to communicate with hearing people. Why is that? Well, because if I start my conversation speaking, people think that I'm not deaf, that I can hear them, which is not the truth. So they'll act like I'm a hearing person. They'll try to communicate with me like I'm a hearing person. The second thing that happens when I start a conversation speaking is sometimes because people think that I can hear, they don't tell me about options that I have for access, like captioning machines or interpreters on Sundays or whatever they have there to help the deaf. They don't think to offer that information to me because I'm speaking. The third thing is that people don't look at me when they talk. They'll be focusing on their work or down at their hands or whatever they're doing, and I have to keep asking, hey, look at me, look at me. Then they'll ask me why do I have to look at you when I talk? And then I have to explain, oh, well, I'm deaf, and then we have this conversation oh, seriously, you're deaf? Wow, how can you talk so well? And then I feel the need to be polite and explain to them why I can speak. So it really can become complicated when you're a deaf person who can speak well. There's actually a few places that I've stopped speaking because it just makes my life more difficult if I speak when I'm at these different places. I'll give you 3 different examples, okay? So the first one is the doctors. Doctors, they're giving us so much important information using words that we're not familiar with, and they're probably looking down at a chart or a computer or something at the same time they're communicating with you. So I found that it's easier and I absorb more information if I just ask every single time for an interpreter. That way I can communicate better with my doctor. The second place that I've stopped speaking, I should say group of places. It's anywhere with bars or windows between me and the person I'm talking or communicating with. So places like the movie theater or Subway or a bank, because the windows or the bars stop me from being able to really see a person's lips, and it makes it harder for me to communicate. So I don't want them thinking that I can hear. So I write. When I'm in those situations, I write down what I need or what I want, and I just give them the piece of paper with the writing on it, and that's been the most effective way of communicating that way for me. And the third place that I have stopped using my voice is whenever I have a really short conversation. Like if I go to Vons or a place to go shopping for food, you know, with the checkout, when the people normally ask you oh, how was your day, or something like small talk. I found that small talk can get really confusing really fast, and then it's easier to just nod, smile, and say sign thank you, because it stops you from having to ask people to repeat themselves again and having to explain to a person that you're deaf or all of that. It's just easier with short communications to just not talk, because if I do talk, then all of a sudden my short checkout that should have me out the door in a minute, 2 minutes, done, now it's become a full conversation where the person is asking me questions like, well, how can you speak? Or how did you become deaf? Or telling me stories about how their friend's brother's sister knew a deaf person once. Like, I appreciate that you're trying to connect with me, but I only want to like pay for my groceries or order my coffee or do something short and just simple, okay? Alright, well, that's what I've found is the best ways of communicating for me in different situations. What about you? How do you communicate best? When do you use writing? When do you use sign language? When do you choose to use your voice? What about you? Alright, bye everyone! Mwah.